it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Okay, so today's video we are doing Guilty Pleasures. That's where one of the hosts of the channel will get to pick one of their songs, which is a non-rock or non-hard rock anyway, and non-metal track, so it can be from any other genre. And they have to justify and explain themselves at the end of why it's their guilty pleasure. So no one knows whose guilty pleasure it is going to be today. Well, actually, you guys have kind of guessed it now out of a subject of out of a elimination point of view. You know it's one of mine. But you don't know what the song is, so obviously you guys will get to give your reaction afterwards about what you think of the song, and then I will explain myself afterwards. But let's go check out today's guilty pleasure. Okay, so that was the OJs, and the song was Love Train. So, of course, that was my guilty pleasure. I'm going to kick this over to Kirk. First of all, off you go, mate. What did you think?
Some of the best singing you'll ever hear. For that alone, just listen to those three male vocalists. The techniques, you could study that. If you are a singing teacher and you're taking on new pupils, you wouldn't start with that song. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The harmonies, I love the movement as well. You know, you've got simple dances as they're doing it. Well, that's one thing with disco, isn't it? In the late 70s, people forget about the orchestrations, the symphonics in there as well, and then and again the drums, simple 2-beat drums, aren't they? They're not just doing the kick drum, right, which obviously is pioneered later on with the drum machine. Fantastic song. I don't even know if it should be a guilty pleasure. You hear that song once and you know it for the rest of your life, don't you? And I'm sure you've got memories of meeting Anna or some other sentimental reason where that was playing and it really captured a moment in your life, didn't it? I like that song. Yeah, disco is really interesting music to me. I know it's a bit safe, isn't it? And it only really appears in the mainstream and dominates for 2 or 3 years, and then obviously punk gets rid of it, doesn't it? And then you get new wave and the British New Romantics, certainly in this country. But excellent song. I just can't find anything to criticize in that.
Andy?
I think I've got a really good breadth of knowledge and experience of music, but I can honestly say, Hannah, I've never heard that song before.
Really?
I didn't recognise it. I didn't recognise the guys. I only slightly acknowledged the band name, the OJs. It's not something that I'm particularly familiar with at all. I don't know why, but you'll explain, as Kirk said, why it means so much to you. I'm not going to break it down into the sort of musical elements like Kirk has. You know, you just got to look at it as a great example of disco, R&B, soul from that period. And yeah, 3 excellent vocal performances. You know, there's a difference between all 3 of those chaps. I love the full band orchestra accompaniment as well. You see the audience enjoying it. The thing that sort of categorises it for me, excuse me, you know how people react to rock songs. You know how people react to heavy metal songs, punk songs, whatever. It's more than just. You know what I mean? That's the reaction that brings, which kind of limits a little bit for me personally, as you know, my interaction with it. You know, it's something you listen to and enjoy on a car journey, or you know, accompanying an advert on TV, for example. But it's not something you really get into, even if you see it in the live session. You just can sit there and enjoy it. You're not going to really involve yourself in the music. You're gonna sit there and enjoy it rather than involve yourself too much. But yeah, nice song. I'm interested to hear what it means to you, Dave.
Okay. So before I get into that, I'll just talk a little bit about from a musical point, and then I'll take you into a bit more of a breakdown of why I picked that particular track and my thoughts about the whole song as a whole. The one thing I would class it probably soul. I can hear disco elements, but I would class it more as soul rather than soul, maybe soul disco, maybe. But what I love about that whole era of music is the guitar is the last instrumentation to be used. It's very light. It's usually like it's more as an accent. But the thing about that style of music is the bass line. It's like boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, boom. It's got great bass. Go to any soul music and just listen to the bass work that's going on. It's all about soul. It's all about brass sections. And the layering and the musicianship within soul is phenomenal. And it's really easy to get into and have fun with. So I love that sort of genre of music. 70s, 60s and early 70s soul is one of my favourite genres to go check out. But now let's get to the reason why the song. So this was, and still is, my favourite song of all time. And was listed as such on the Dave Does channel. And there is one particular reason. It was hard to justify because there are so many good songs. And Kirk, you've had the experience of me in a car journey and what I'm like with songs. Flick, flick, flick. The OJ's and Love Train is the only song that I can remember that I've never skipped to the next song by listening to. But for whatever reason, I always love listening to it. No matter if it's on the radio, if it's on the MP3, when it comes on, I listen to it from start to finish. I've never skipped it. It's a song for me that is such a positive message. People all over the world join hands, form a love chain. It's basically about people stop killing each other, stop fighting, and can we all just get along? And I think that's such a positive message that I love that, and I utilize it. I mean, I probably listen to this song once every couple of days. At some point, it will go on the MP. It never comes off the phone MP3, so whenever I'm plugged in, it will come on at some point. And I find if I'm in a crap mood and I put it on in the car, I'm always in such a good mood by the end of it. Because I always sing along, and I'm always just kind of, don't ask me to freaking sing along, Andy. I'm not going to do it. But I always do. I do start bopping along in the car. I enjoy myself so much with that song. As I say, yeah, you can break it down from an instrumentation point of view, but I think it's because of the message that the song puts out there. You get a lot of music talks about anti-government. You get people talk about pollution. People talk about personal individuality, about death and loss, talk about breakups, they talk about that. This talks about, can everyone in the world just get on and stop and work together to move forward? And not enough people do that sort of focus, and that's why I really like the track. And it's a great song to dance to, because you can dance to it. Except for, unfortunately, in that TV audience, they're all just clapping along, which is a shame. I'd love to see everyone out their seats and just getting a bit of a groove on. But yeah, so that's the reason why that is one of my guilty pleasures, or not so guilty, but it's still it's definitely not hard rock or metal. So but that's the OJs and Love Train. There we go. So if you liked this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and we will see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.